I'm really excited to be nominated for the position on the Board of Trustees for ACWW. I'm really passionate about the mission of ACWW in terms of amplifying the voice of rural women. And this comes from both a professional and a personal background. I'm the fifth generation of a family of farmers from New Zealand, from Aotearoa, New Zealand. And so I have that experience of seeing generations of family members, and particularly the amazing women in my family grow up and work and live a life of service to the rural community. In my professional world, I'm an international human rights lawyer, so I focus on the rights to do with land, health, education, women's rights, and girls' rights. And that's a big passion that I have, that I've been working on internationally for a long time. And so I see ACWW as being a perfect forum to bring these two personal and professional passions together to serve the world. I've been nominated for the role of Communications and Marketing Chairperson. And for this role, I've worked with, I have experience in doing communications for large international non-profit and charity organisations, including organisations like Amnesty International and other human rights bodies. So what this means is that in my role, I've done a lot of work in ensuring the communication goes two ways. So both we're making sure that all of our members around the world know and understand what's happening within the organisation, that we're sharing lessons and experiences to learn from each other and updates about what we're doing, but also that we're taking that information about what's going on right at the grassroots level, that the stories and the voices of rural women, whether they're, no matter which country they're in, whether they're in rural Africa or rural New Zealand, where I'm from, or the United Kingdom, wherever they're from, that we can take those voices and experience and communicate and share that with decision makers and people in power who are making decisions. I've been running an online business for about 8 to 10 years before COVID hit. So when it comes to the online ways of working, it's something that was a natural part of my working life well before COVID. What we've seen with COVID is some really interesting changes in terms of how we can do this on a larger scale with our group meetings and ensuring connection between people all around the world. And that has its advantages, but it also has its challenges. And so I've helped a number of other groups, including Rotary International and Zonta as well, groups that have been involved in service organisations, to bring people on board who are not used to technology and to help make it easy and fun and a way of connecting with each other a little bit more easily. But also, as a person with disabilities, for me, the online world is something that I'm very used to as a way of making sure that we can participate and communicate with each other. And it's something that I'm committed to making sure that one of the challenges many of us have in rural areas is not. I'm really inspired by the strategy of ACWW, the 2022 to 2026 strategy. I'm really inspired by the focus that this has, particularly on issues like community transformation and grassroots projects. That idea of making sure that the voice of those who are really at the front line doing the work on the ground, that's the priority for us, that's supporting that, building that, and making sure that that voice is amplified into the halls of power and decision-making places, that's the priority for ACWW. I think here that idea of sharing knowledge about our local activities feeds into that and helps us to achieve that goal. And the advocacy that ACWW does is something that I've been contributing to in my own way in different organisations that I've worked in. I've worked for a long time with NGOs that work in the United Nations system in Geneva and in New York and elsewhere. And so making sure that those voices of rural women are amplified in international decision making is really important to me. This, I think, is one of the areas I'm most excited about, in that I have worked on a lot of boards and in governance roles from really small community organisations like my local food security network in Rotorua in New Zealand, where we ran projects like backyard gardening to increase the ability for people living in poverty to ensure that they could eat healthy, nutritious meals, to being involved as a board, in the board as the special advisor to the board chair of international organisations, multi-million-dollar international organisations working on women and children's health and women's health issues internationally. So what that means is that I understand the role of a trustee, of a board member. I understand the governance responsibilities that go along with that. And I also understand that it's important to be there for the role that you've been appointed for, but also to have a broad and general understanding of where the organisation is going and how you can contribute to that.